So you just mentioned Justice League Task Force.
Yes.
What's interesting about that, I learned in researching you, was that another developer who would, this is just all, you couldn't even write this if you were writing like a sitcom, let alone a drama, but another developer called Silicon and Synapse, which we'll get to that. If you don't know who they are, we'll get to them in a second, but they, it turned out, had been contracted to make the game also.
Right.
So you and Silicon and Synapse, Condor and Silicon and Synapse, were both working on different versions of the same thing.
Right, exactly. It was even stranger than that. So we'd been contracted to do so when they pitched us, hey, here's a few different products that if you're interested, you can have these jobs. Here's Justice League Task Force, here's the Aerosmith game, here's the, there are like 3 or 4 different choices or whatever. And when we said, well, we'd like to do Justice League Task Force, and they're like, are you sure? Yeah, we're sure. All right, or whatever. So we're going to give you the Genesis version. Okay, great. I had a lot of experience on the Genesis. I love the 68,000, so the processor was really easy to program. Because everything was, exactly. Everything was written in assembly language at the time. And so, it was easy to write in. There were a lot of registered, I'm getting too technical here, but
that's exactly what this show is for.
It was, there were lots of ways that you can hold information. It was easy to access information, and the architecture was great. And so, I thought that, that working on the Genesis, that sounds right up my alley. So we thought that we were the only version in this game. And we show up at CES. Now, before E3, we would all go to Consumer Electronics Show, and we were
in January.
Yeah, exactly. Or in Chicago in the summertime.
Right.
And that was when there were 2 of them. I think there's only 1 now. But and we were in a section. The video games were like right next to the car stereos. So it was like thump, 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 thump all day. Well, it was much like E3. So we would be next to the refrigerators and the car stereos, and here's video games. And so we show up at Consumer Electronics Show, and wait, there's another version of this game? There's another developer making the same game. Like, we had never met, we had never discussed anything, we had never shared ideas, we had never knew that there was another version or another developer working on the Super Nintendo version of the product at the time. And so we showed up, and the games were oddly similar.
You'd arrived at it's a fighting game.
They're a fighting game,
You'd arrived at similar conclusions.
Almost exactly, and like had nearly identical settings, and like it was really weird. And so we showed up, and so we kind of talked with them and got to know them and stuff. And
is it a friendly thing, or is it like a hey, F these guys?
No, not at all. I mean, they were kind of busy at the time because they were just coming out with the Death of Superman game or something like that. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but it was something along those lines. They had a Superman game that they were just finishing, or it was just being published, and Justice League was still a year out or so. And so, I think that time frame, it was very friendly. It was shocking to both of us, but there was no animosity. It wasn't like, oh my God, I can't believe that we didn't get both versions of this product. I'm upset that we didn't grow our company or something like that. Neither team really felt that way.
Is it like a fast friends kind of thing because of this?
I mean, it was because the games were so similar. It was like, oh, it's kind of, and then we just kept talking, and then they said, well, we're working on a PC game. And he said, oh, really? I'd love to see it. And that's what we really want to do. I mean, we're really passionate about PC games, and I've got some ideas for PC games, and that's kind of a passion of ours. So eventually, that's where I want my career to go. And they said, well, why don't we have a little booth? It was like a 10 by 10 like little
table?
Yeah, exactly. It was like a 10 by 10 little room that was jam packed. It had it was like high, walls that you'd find like in an office or whatever. It was just barely a room. You could call it a room, but it was like it wasn't really a room. And so we kind of went in there, and they showed off Warcraft 1. And I was like, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.